Hey there, Ben here, nice to see you. In this video we will take a look at John Mayer's most used blues licks, starting from the beginning of his career until now. I will show you different examples where he got those licks from. They are mostly inspired by blues greats like B.B. King, Eric Clapton, Ava King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Hendrix and T-Bone Walker. And it's really fun to see from what performances he's got these from and how often he's using them. With no further ado, let's check out the first. Okay, now this lick in the first minor pentatonic position is rather easy. It's really taken from Stevie Ray Vaughan and it's very easy to replicate. You just have to roll your index finger here on the E and B string. Sometimes you will be grabbing the B string as well. Just make sure you give that root note some good vibrato.
You feel that?
Very often early on in his career. It's really taken from Jimi Hendrix, I believe. It's from Red House, some live versions. And I think John added the reverse rake here, where you really reverse rake that hammer on onto the root note. And that I Don't Need No Doctor live version from the trio, he's playing something like this, and he's using this a lot to build a groove around that line. And then you can break out of it. Or in that Out of My Mind version. A very cool thing, especially with singer chords. Sometimes John will play around with those bluesy double stops in first position. Or he will use that major sixth interval here. To build his way down the pentatonic. Now to play a lick like this. Instead of just using the minor third, you can implement the fifth as well. And one of his favorite double stops is probably this slide here to the dominant shape of a seventh chord. here in the first pentatonic position. It's just like in with Who Did You Think I Was? And he's sometimes using this double stop here as well, but rather inside of a lick. And he sometimes will add that root note here. All here in the second position. Now John also loves to use this arpeggio. He has probably heard the Jam 292 Jam by Hendrix or Stevie Vaughan. It's really a cool arpeggio, definitely for blues tracks or blues settings, where you are playing through the third and the minor seventh. So now he's most of the time starting at the 5 chord. And you repeat the same thing for 4 chord. And you could use the same line for the 1 as well. So anytime he's starting this lick with the root and the third, you can be sure he was inspired by this jam, by this rare jam.
Albert holds those bends either with 1 string, or if he's really making it cry, with 2. It's like a surfer riding at the top of a wave, or a skateboarder grabbing the top of the half pipe with his feet over his head. It just kind of stops time and catches air.
Now John loves these SRV Albert King style double string bends, where you grab the E and B string in the Albert King position. Because it really screams, especially with a sing call. You will see him often switch to the bridge pickup in the middle of a solo. Like in the Texas Flood solo he did, or in the Ain't No Sunshine thing. Almost every blues solo he's playing this.
People who don't bend to the note, it always sounds funky. Then you learn to bend to the note, and then you do these little micro bends, you know, instead of, you know, you go. It's a little bit sharp. It's not, or it's not a perfect third. It's, so, and it's not that low either. It's very, very. You almost split. You almost split a half a bend into like 4 segments and just go up like 1.5 of those. It's very microscopic, but that's what I'm...
A favorite thing of John to do as well is to play around with micro bends, especially at the G string in the first position. He loves to bend almost up to the major third, but almost. So not. Something like this. Now, a favorite thing of his is also to end a lick or a line with the lower notes of the first position, but involving the blue notes. So he loves to, and then play the octave, or end with his pinky at the minor third. Sometimes he will do this hammer-on pull-off thing, like SRV did in Lenny at the Alma Combo version. Now, no blues solo would be complete without John sliding at least once into the B.B. King position and playing around with a major second interval and applying some good vibrato on the root. And he will often slide back into first position from there. Or will implement that fifth interval. Oh, sorry, it's actually the sixth, I believe. No, it's the octave of the fifth interval, actually. And he's really giving a nod to B.B. King here. Maybe giving a nod to Eric Clapton as well with a blue note. Or even sliding up to the octave. Of course, he loves to do these 1.5 step bends like B.B. King did at Live at the Regal. And then to be a bit more Stevie Ray or Jimi Hendrix like, he loves to bend that minor third up. sometimes very fast, and play unison bend, and put his focus on the root note of the fourth chord. But this works both of the 1 and the 4. Now this one was really taken from B.B. King. B.B. King was known to use the high octave when he didn't know what to play next, and John did this several times, just the highest octave on the E string, and he's almost all the time doing it with his ring finger. B.B. King did it with his pinky, but you just have to make sure whether you use the pinky or the ring finger to mute the other strings, so you can really dig into the strings here. And sometimes John Mayer would stay on that note for a while and give that some good vibrato. Now this phrase John Mayer uses a lot of times when he's playing a faster blues track. It's probably inspired by Stevie Ray Vaughan's Honeybee cover, I believe. It's a song by Muddy Waters in the original. And it's really just playing with the first positions of those chords. So if we're in C and the G7 is approaching, he's gonna slide into those triad on the G string, and play around in the first positions with those major and minor notes, with a major second and minor second. Something along the lines of that. When John is using faster licks, it's almost always going from a second position to a first position, or even starting in a first position. It's almost always a Stevie Ray Vaughan lick, ending in a series of pull-offs and slides. Sometimes he will go even back to a second position to the root note. It's almost always that Texas Klotz style lick he's using with the minor second and major second interval. Now this lick can be heard in a lot of solos as well. It's almost always reverse raked. And sometimes repeated at the A string as well. It's really not that difficult, but you really have to dig into that. And sometimes he will do that with his fingers. Especially when doing softer or mellow songs like Slow Dancing in Burning Room. You just have to make sure to mute all the other strings with your left hand, so you don't get this. And sounds sloppy. Now this lick is perfect for a fifth chord. He's landing on the minor seventh interval of the fifth chord. And I believe it's taken directly from Jimi Hendrix's Red House. The thing of his is definitely doing the trills or the fast hammer on pull-off Stevie Ray Vaughan style in the first position. Those sound very cool, and if you have a lot of compression or gain on, then this is really not that difficult. Right now this doesn't sound too good, but it's a very cool thing to do, and you can hear it in a lot of solos. It's also a great practice tool to get some endurance on the left hand, because you will feel your finger, your arm wearing out. Now, in a lot of blues solos, drum is starting out his solo with a major third lick, or he's switching positions sometimes, or he's just putting his focus on the third because the one chord is being played right now. But as I said earlier, a lot of times he's using these microbends. And he will sometimes also slide here into the major third at the A string, or do a lick like this. John has played some upper king licks, most often he will slap back with the lick sounding like this. And then he will play some lick in first position. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel down below. Also consider supporting me on Patreon for early access to my videos and downloadable tabs. I would love to see you there. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.